Welcome, folks. We are here with Tech Sergeant Balzic from what base?
Edwards.
You're at Edwards. That is correct. My old stomping grounds, your current stomping grounds. Where are we at? What are we doing?
So currently we're at Eglin, Florida at the EOD Women's Leadership Summit.
Okay, and is this specifically for EOD? Is it just for women? Like, what's going on? What's the event encompassing here?
So originally our idea was out for EOD, and our stuff just kept getting bigger and more recognized, and we opened it up to other career fields in the Air Force,
Okay.
and then we ended up opening to other services.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we were only able to get the Navy, but the impact that they had showing up to this event has been amazing, and we're actually working with them for next year
Oh,
to
amazing.
make it even bigger.
Okay, fantastic. And so it's the EOD's women leadership. So we do have, you guys did a really good job bringing in a multitude of people to speak about leadership issues and the issues that women face while not only in the service but specifically within our career field. And you brought that across generationally as well. From Mo, who was on stage on the guest panel yesterday, who joined in '87,
Yeah.
I believe, to more current still serving members like Chief Rogers, and we had reservists, command chiefs, Chief Master Sergeant Williams here yesterday, giving a unique perspective on struggles and adversity that they've had to that she's specifically overcome in her career to get to her point. And we do have a lot of other career fields here. We have some CBurn, some CE. We have, I think, some LRS, some FSS folks here, all getting this information to know their unique struggle is shared by other people. And it's, for me, not being a woman, I'm gaining that perspective. So that's pretty much why I showed up. Is one, I wanted to see all my homies, and two, I wanted to gain
Yeah, I love it.
your guys' a glimpse into what you guys have to go through. Because dude, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But we're also celebrating 50 years of women in EOD as well, correct?
Right. So that's kind of how this whole thing came to fruition. Retired Chief Master Sergeant Linda Cox graduated from EOD school 50 years ago tomorrow, and that's how that date came about.
Okay.
And we were like, how do we get the career field and the women down here to celebrate? So Master Sergeant and Tiffany Q, they came up with this idea. And as a group, we've been executing and done all the planning. So that's how everything originated, and it was all to come down and celebrate Linda.
Okay. So how long has this event been in the works? Been planning for this event?
Oh my. I want to say Tiffany and Giselle started last year, like
Okay.
November, December. And we've been planning for this summit since March.
Okay.
And it just keeps evolving.
Okay. How did you pick some of the guest speakers for this event? Like I said, you had Chief Master Sergeant Williams, who's command chief at a guard base in Alabama. You had Lieutenant Colonel Pelkowski, FSS commander at Herbert Field. Like, how did you select some of these panel members or guest speakers?
So when we all got together planning, we kind of brainstormed. We didn't want it to just be EOD. We know as military members we can learn from everybody. So we kind of brainstormed, and these are people we admire.
Okay.
And if they weren't somebody that like we knew, like they were somebody that got wind that we were putting this together and made recommendations.
Okay.
So these are people that somebody in our career field had such a great experience with, and they were like, you need to have this person and they can share this amazing story. So when we were brainstorming different topics and stuff, like all these different names and career fields started coming from so many other people. And unfortunately, we had to narrow it down because this could have gotten way out of hand,
Way big.
and way bigger. So, yeah, but it's mostly like great positive experiences, whether they had like a hardship story to share or like super positive impacts, even on our career field or women in general. And that's just how they got kind of pulled into this. And then when people hear that we're doing this massive support for women, especially in leadership roles, like people can't wait to be a part of it.
Right. So it's a leadership symposium. Is it talking about actual leadership, or is it the perspective of leadership from that woman's perspective? Like, is it providing both this is my experience in a leadership role, or is it just like, this is how to be a leader as, a woman in the military?
So I think mostly it's sharing the experiences, but we've done different panels. We've had leading as a woman, as a woman in a leadership role, what have their experiences been? What have their hardships been, their lessons learned, and we're sharing those. And then we had other panels that also include men, like how do we lead women? How do we support women? Is there a difference between leading a woman versus a man? Is
Right.
there no difference? So these are all stories that are getting shared, and it's opening up to like really good discussions here, I think.
Okay. Final thoughts. We had day one yesterday. We're pre day two right now, probably kicking off here shortly. What are your hopes for the overall event, culminating this afternoon with the closing remarks? I think there's a ruck tomorrow morning, and then where is this going in the future?
That is a great question. So today we have like a lot of resiliency stuff. Honestly, today's going to be a hard one because we also have a lot of her stories and how some of our women have overcome quite a bit of stuff. And then we're ending up with Linda Cox as our final speaker.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And later today, the Warrior Foundation is actually doing an unveiling for a history path at the memorial. So we're trying to get out of here on time. But our hope is that this will be annual.
Okay.
We might adjust the name because we want other career fields and other genders and everybody to show up. And I know it can be a little confusing, right? It's a women's leadership summit. So when we're like, hey, guys, all the men, let's go.
Well, I got that question in our unit. I was over at EM earlier this week, and they're like, hey, is it weird if we show up to this thing? I was like, it's the women's leadership panel, but I'm going, so show up. Like, but it says EOD. I'm like, it says women's, and I'm going. Let's just go. Like, see what they've got. So, three emergency management techs from Herbie were here yesterday. They should be back today.
Oh, perfect. I hope they're enjoying it. So we may actually adjust the name next year to make it more, because some people see it and they're like, oh, it's EOD. Why would I go as LRS? Oh, it's for women. Why would I go as a man? Like, so we may adjust, like, hey, EOD's putting on like this diversity leadership summit or something. We've been toying with a lot of stuff. But we are hoping that we're going to continue to work with like the A4 event coordinators.
Right.
And
they've been awesome.
They are doing an amazing job. We could not have done it without them, and they were like a blessing. But we're hoping to continue to work with them and keep this going every year. So we may be seeing it under a different name. We will see. But that's our hope.
Sweet. Well, I think you did great, and thanks for coming on, and
Thank
thanks for
you.
helping explain why we're all gathered here Thursday and Friday here at Eglin Air Force Base.
Thank
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
And go. All right, we're back with another event coordinator here at the EOD Women's Leadership Symposium. We have Staff Sergeant Phillips.
Hello?
And you are from Niagara Falls AGR.
Yes, I'm Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station AGR, so I'm full-time up there as an EOD tech.
Fantastic. So, small world. I was actually one of your instructors for a little while. We also worked on the color guard for the 2020?
2021.
2021?
Yes.
It all runs together.
It
Was
does.
it 2021 or was it 2020?
No, it was 2021 because in 2020 I was at prelim.
Okay, so 2021 EOD Memorial. You guys rocked color guard, so thank you for making me look good.
Oh, man, it's all about the leadership, you know? And we had great leadership behind us.
Phrasing. So we're here to do more leadership, specifically women's leadership in the military as a whole. I know it says EOD women's leadership, but it's leadership overall. We've had female officers, senior enlisted on the panel. We've had military male senior enlisted on the panels, talking about leadership in general and specifically how it affects or how it entwines with either leading women or the adversity that women face in the military as a whole. So how did you get brought in to help lead this?
So, funny backstory to this.
Okay.
About a year and a half ago, I actually reached out to one of the senior NCOs in EOD, another female, and I told her back then that I really wanted to do an event where we could get all the women together. There's only 38 of us total in active guard and reserve, and there's no reason for us not to be able to find a way to get us together.
That seems like a small lift. If there's,
Yes.
There's only 38 of you. 38 is a large number.
But in comparison
to the rest of the force, it's still small. But bringing 38 people together doesn't seem like it would be that difficult.
It doesn't, but it has its challenges, especially justifications and funding and things like that. But we talked about it, and one of the issues that came up was, well, we can't do something and make it inclusive only to females.
Right.
And that it would have to be all-inclusive to anyone who would want to participate, which we obviously have no problem with that.
Right.
Especially female EOD techs who are very all-inclusive as it is.
Correct.
But unfortunately, during that time, it kind of fell off the map, and then it didn't really gain any traction. So earlier this year, Chief Diana Rogers threw out that the EOD Warrior Foundation was doing this 50-year anniversary celebratory Ruckin' dinner for Linda Cox because it's 30 years of women in EOD. And that an idea was brought up to do a symposium or a summit for the women to come out here so that we can also celebrate.
Right. I mean, that's a big deal. 50 years is a very large marker.
It really is, and it's something we're very proud of because Linda Cox wasn't only the female to pave the way for all of us females, she was also the first Chief Master Sergeant female in EOD.
Correct.
So she's got many things to celebrate, you know, and she's an amazing person. We've met her, we've talked to her, and she's just...
Because a lot of you guys met her in school too, right?
We
She
did.
came down and hung out and did some dinners.
Yeah, and she's just a great woman. She's fantastic, and she's super knowledgeable, and just knowing everything she went to get us to be where we're at, we're so grateful for her. But they had this idea for this symposium or the summit, but they didn't really have anyone to run it. And so I was like, hey, I'll help out. But at the time, we didn't know they didn't have anyone to actually run it. And so when Technical Sergeant Monica Balsick was like, yeah, I'll help out too, it was like, hey, you two, you guys volunteer? Guess what? This is your baby. Let's go.
Here you go. Here is the project.
Here it is. Exactly. And we're like, cool, we'll just... We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Two NCOs who've never done this, we'll get it done.
That's usually how we learn, right?
Yep, no, that's
They're
absolutely.
like, here's the fire, straight into it. Make
Put
it
it
happen.
out.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
So what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday out of the different panels that we had and the guest speakers that we had yesterday? What was your biggest takeaway out of yesterday's portion?
Honestly, my biggest takeaway actually came from the men out here.
Okay.
So a lot of us women already talk to each other. We have a very good platform where we can all talk to each other all the time. We used to do monthly meetups and stuff like that where we would just kind of vent things out or like talk about things that were going on. But us talking about everything that they put out yesterday, like all the women talking about, overcoming adversity and competition versus empowerment and all that. And then having the panels with the men on it and the men speaking their part to it.
Right.
And what their perception was and how they didn't realize what our perceptions were.
Right.
That, it's something you don't realize, the men don't realize kind of thing. So until you hear it. And so now I'm thinking when we do this again, hopefully next year, we can open it or we can get more guys to come out here so that we can have their, perception on what's going on, and then they can understand where we're coming from as well.
Right.
It's this huge unspoken thing because nobody wants to talk about it. No
Right.
one wants to talk about, I feel this way, and it's because I'm a female, and I feel like because I'm a female, you think this.
Right.
It's the taboo concept that no one wants to put out. It's the elephant in the room.
Right.
So having this open forum where it's okay to speak about this
Right.
makes a massive difference. And then everyone can go back to their home stations and then, either help out or explain it to everyone in their flights.
Right. Exactly.
And make it a better atmosphere for everyone.
And it's the same thing we do whenever we go TDY anyways. We go school to TDY and then we bring the information back.
Exactly.
We're going to do the same thing when we go back to home station is we're like, hey, this is where I was at. This is what I did. These are the topics covered. These are the high points. These are some of the discussions that were had. This is what we take away from it. This is what we need to work on because it's going to start at the flight level and at the top level to push down whatever initiative, but it starts at the grassroots.
Right, exactly. And honestly, for me personally, what I've seen, if you can make the change within the Airmen, it will trickle up.
Right.
Which you don't normally hear that. You hear about the trickle down, especially from the top down, because, that's the house going into the rockers. But
Right.
you never hear about the change between the Airmen and somehow it migrating upwards, and it does happen.
Right.
You just have to do it with a big enough group for it to eventually spread.
Spread and take hold. Because somebody will, if you got a good culture here and then that person PCSs, they can start that culture at another base. But if the culture is getting started at all the bases, when somebody PCSs, it's already going to be the standard.
Exactly. Yep.
Sweet. So what are you looking forward most today?
So today, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also kind of not looking forward to it.
Correct.
On the schedule today, we have the Her Stories, and this
Right.
is where a bunch of women EOD techs out here who have gone through some significant things are going to go up, and they're going to speak about their stories about whether or not if they were EOD prior, something that happened to them within their career and how it affected them and how they either overcame it or what changes came from it.
Right.
And
So a lot of vulnerability.
yes, extremely vulnerable, we're going to get a whole world of different stories, and
Right.
it's going to touch some topics that might be a little bit triggering for some people, but it's stuff that does need to be talked about.
Yeah.
So,
Like you said earlier, the elephant in the room.
it is. Today will be the day the elephant is in the room.
For sure.
100%. Yeah.
Final thoughts. We're about ready to start sitting down and getting ready. So final thoughts on the whole event as a whole, your experience helping bring it together. Final thought.
So bringing it together, honestly, we thought we might get 35 to 40 people here.
I think we reached that.
I do too. We successfully have over 100 people here as of today.
Wow.
We had people who decided last minute yesterday that they want to come in today.
Okay.
So we have some extra people coming in that we weren't planning on being here, but they're here, and we're very happy about that. But from the concept of what we had and what this turned out to be, this is way more than we thought it would ever be. And the people that came out to support us and those who came to speak and like especially the higher leadership that came out for this, it absolutely amazed all of us on the planning team that it became this.
I mean, we had a full bird captain from the Navy out here.
Yes.
Which is, I've never seen a full bird captain female EOD tech before, so I was like, check that one off. I've seen that now.
And, you know, we tried to find contacts to get other branches involved, but we didn't have the avenue to get those contacts. And since she came out, I spoke with her yesterday. She's going to give me the contacts to the Navy officers that can send it out through their entire career field in the Navy.
Wow. Awesome.
And then we're hoping to also get the Marine Corps and the Army for the next
I might have a
symposium that we
contact
have.
for the Army for you guys.
Oh, really? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, one of my former instructor colleagues was a Army captain, officer, female. So, yeah, she was in Team D's with us, so it's possible.
Awesome. No, that would be great because you know what? This we're hoping to make this a bigger thing. It started
I think
off,
we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
A bigger venue next year for sure.
Yeah, we definitely thought this was going to be small, and we are so proud of what how big it got and what this became. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did a great job.
Well, thank you.
You may be like super stressed and worried and everything like that, but it's going great.
Well, thank you so much. We're really happy that everyone came to enjoy this. And
it's great seeing you again.
You too, really.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap this up so we can go ahead and get started, and then we'll see what the day brings.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. We are here with Tech Sergeant Q, because I can't pronounce your last name.
Kwasniewska.
See, definitely could not do that. And we just finished the first ever EOD Women's Leadership Summit, Symposium, panel, awesome event
Party
that y'all put together for the career field / women in the military, because it wasn't just EOD techs here. We had cyber, we had LRS, we had FSS, we had EM, we had everybody here. We're here at Eglin. We've done this event. What is your thoughts coming out of the last 2 days of amazing briefers and speakers and vulnerability and the stories that were shared and the team building? Even though it wasn't a team building exercise, I think we've built a stronger team with the people that are here. What do you think of the overall event for the 2 days?
I absolutely loved it. When I first got here, I've only known a few of the women in the career field.
Okay.
I know Giselle, I know Banta, I know Malia Lynn and Nellis. So when I got here, I'd heard of all these amazing women, but I hadn't had the opportunity to actually meet them. And being able to, introduce myself, listen to them talk, all those things, I feel like it brought all of us together. We're finally able to put, faces to names and names to faces. And it was very empowering to hear their story and, be able to understand a little bit more about them and what they've gone through and how it we all relate to each other now. And I would never have known that before.
Did you guys have, your own inner, offline internal comms? If you guys are having an issue, you guys have one place where you guys can link up digitally, but this is almost maybe the first event where you guys you gals have all been able to join in as a collective, get a TDY to be in the same place at the same time, and everybody talk about things that are important to you guys, right?
Yeah, I think Chief D said it best. We don't talk about Fight Club,
right?
But that 100% is accurate. We have that network that we're able to reach out to each other, but it's different when you're not able to picture them and you haven't met them in person before. I was able to meet Jackie today for the first time, and that's a woman that I've wanted to meet for years. I've heard nothing about good things. So it's nice being able to put faces to the people that have given me advice since I was a baby airman.
Right. So with this event, we just had the closing ceremonies. We had Chief Retired Cox come up here and give some words about 50 years tomorrow of her being an EOD, and we've had a lot of speeches and talks and words of encouragement for all the ladies of our career field and ladies in general that attended. But yes, we've had the first Chief Master Sergeant, now we have the second, and we're setting up that next generation to have the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on, female chief master sergeants of this career field. Like, and Chief Cox said it perfectly. Like, I wish we had people like y'all when I was coming up. And you're doing that at the schoolhouse now with the next generation. You guys have the mentorship programs. I think it's called the Janes over there at the schoolhouse. How did that kind of get started, and what are you implementing there to ensure that the future women of EOD are encouraged to continue their path forward?
Well, I have to give full credit to Ashley Banta and Giselle when it came to the female mentorship program at the schoolhouse. It started years ago at this point as an Air Force mentorship group, and it kind of just grew over time to the Janes, the Joint Advocacy for Naval EOD Students. And we meet every month. We do a mentorship event, and then every quarter we meet with all students, male and female, and kind of build that teamwork, integration. We just do a lot of physical activities, whether that's a ruck, a race of some sort, and then the monthly events are like yoga, Q&As. We bring in mentors from out of state so they can talk to women about what to expect in the career field and things like that. I think that mentorship group is probably the most meaningful thing I've done in my career.
Okay.
Simply because you see that network being built, and I still get messages from girls that have graduated months ago of them going TDY and seeing somebody else from the Janes.
Right.
And they send us a selfie and say, hey, we're out here, we're having fun, thank you for introducing us. Or if one girl has an issue and they reach out to me, I say, hey, I know somebody that was just stationed at this base. They went through this issue. Let's go talk to them and see how they handled it. So I think having these summits and these leadership events, they're getting more and more common nowadays.
Okay.
And I think they're just going to continue to get more common. I think we're going to get more female chiefs. We're going to keep passing that baton on, and soon we're going to look back and be like, do you remember, 80 years ago when we only had one female chief? How crazy is that? We have 10 now. So I'm excited.
Sweet.
We're only going up from here.
There you go. Final thoughts on the overall event, the excursion we had last night, and the fun we had last night, the briefers that we had, her stories today, Command Chief Williams yesterday. Final thoughts on the whole event.
Well, I missed the excursion last night. I'm still getting prepared for my event on Saturday with Master Sgt. But I have to give a shout out to Monica and Mo. They did a great job. They've invested so much time. We've tried to help when we could. But everybody that stood up and spoke, it was just so meaningful for them to be able to share their story and be that open and honest with all of us in a room this busy, this crowded. That's something that takes a lot of courage, and I really respect the people that were out there today, and I appreciate that from them.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on for a quick couple minutes, and I know we got another place to be here shortly, so we're going to take off, but thank you for all the stuff that you're doing with the Janes at the schoolhouse and putting on the event tomorrow. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep. And record. Fantastic. All right, so we've concluded the first ever EOD Women's Leadership Summit, and we're here with Airman First Class Poliot.
Hello.
What did you think of the event?
I know that the event, I felt that it was very beneficial for women coming in to actually see that we are not alone in a men's-dominated career field.
Okay.
It was also nice seeing leadership, the panel, the questioning, being able to openly ask them questions that we're all thinking we just don't know when or how to ask.
Right.
Hearing the struggles and the difficulties that a lot of these experienced women in EOD have gone through was also just like eye-opening. I'm not alone.
Right.
And that was really great.
Okay. So you're not like 18 straight out of high school. You got a little bit of life underneath your belt. In any other career path that you've had prior to your current path in EOD, has there been anything like women's empowerment in the workplace that you've experienced or anything like that, or is this the first time you've experienced something like this?
This is the first time that I've experienced something like this. I can say I was a warehouse manager.
Okay.
And I managed men.
Okay.
And that was very difficult. That's all that needs to be said about that.
Are you saying that men are difficult? No way.
It was very difficult, but there was no my manager. There was no women entitlement at all. It was just like, do your job.
Gotcha. What was your favorite part of this event? I mean, we've had different panels. We had Chief Cox speak. We had Command Chief Williams. We had the brief from the CFM. We've had all these people come out and basically, in my opinion, pour into the younger generation. Because I don't want to say that they're old, but they're chiefs, full bird colonels, lieutenants at their 18, 20-year mark, people that have much older in their career pour into, I say, a younger generation. Like, what was that biggest takeaway that you had this weekend or these 2 days?
Biggest takeaway, I would say a couple of them are having these higher leaderships, lieutenant colonels come up and chiefs come up and just kind of open their barrier a little bit. This was a formal but informal event, and I liked how they opened up and told us about their struggles and how they overcame them. I liked the questioning. I also liked hearing about like her stories, whether they were sad and or just hilarious. I really liked.
Yeah, Sergeant Holly's was amazing.
Yes. Just overall, it just felt like family. It felt very nice. That's what I liked about it the most. That's my biggest takeaway.
Awesome. Let me ask this. What are you going to do to continue the positive message and positive energy that you received this weekend back at your home shop?
I am good enough.
Okay.
I am capable of doing this job, whether or not, because there are some days that I'll go there and be like, can I do this? Like, can I do this? And I just, okay, yes, I can. I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here. I'm going to take, and it sounds cliche, I'm going to take the power that I've gained from this, and I'm going to take it back to the shop. And I have the wonderful Giselle Master Sergeant with me now, and it's great. Just going there and also learning, like, hey, I am older, and hey, but I don't have to be the mom. I don't have to care that much. I can still care, but I can still do me and do my job.
Right.
And get what I need to get done.
Get it done, right.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, I want to say thank you for coming on. I know this just out of the blue, walked up and was like, I want to get the younger airmen's perspective on the event. So I appreciate you coming on, and you're right down the street from us, so hopefully we'll get to work together on some ADRs or some range clearances, or you guys coming over to the range and blowing some stuff up.
Exactly, yes.
Because you're right down the road. So
correct. I appreciate
awesome.
it.
It's been super fun, and hopefully we continue to have a great training relationship between Herbie and Eglin.
Yes, I hope so too. Thank you so much.
Sweet.